Well, hey everyone, welcome back to Figure It Out. We are going to take a quick look at the NECA black and white version of their Ultimate Dracula. This is the Abby Carfax edition. We're also going to take a look at the Dracula Accessory Set that is sold separately. Well, pulling this Dracula out of the box, there are several things that I really enjoy about this figure. This figure comes with 5 additional hands other than the ones that he comes with that are on the figure. It also comes with 3 additional heads. It also comes with a top hat as an accessory and a cane as an accessory, which we'll pull here. This cane that sort of goes with the whole top hat, and then it also comes with a bat. I'll get to those in a minute. We'll look at those in detail. First, let's just take a look at the face. How do we feel like that the representation of Bela Lugosi in the action figure compares with the actual? So we can put those side by side here on the screen and just take a look at maybe what we think. So here is the Bela Lugosi action figure. And just taking a look at, I mean, the details on this face sculpt are actually pretty fantastic. I've got to say, they did a really great job on this. There's some details that even as close as we are, you may not even be able to see, but one is I've taken a close look at this that I can actually be really impressed by. And so even getting as close as we can, let's try to get super close here. On this, let's see, on this side of his cheek. So the actor actually has 2 little moles on this side, and they even saw fit to include those moles. And you know, on screen, he's covered in this white face paint, and so you can kind of barely see that. But I'm telling you, as I watched the movie, I did look for it because I'm like, okay, is that a mistake in the sculpt? But I didn't think it was. I just knew that they were going to include that. What a phenomenal job that they've done with this. The texture of the skin, the lines, the creases, all of that, just the facial expression of Bela Lugosi. I think they've done a really great job. The eyes, the detail in the paint on the eyes is really, really well done. Why don't we just go ahead, since we're looking at this particular head sculpt, let's take a look at the other 2 head sculpts as well and see how they compare. As I bring the angry Dracula face, you don't see this quite as much in the movie as we see. I mean, we have this here, but he does not have this expression too often, but they did a good job with that. The one that we see quite a bit in the movie is the smiling face. And here's what that looks like. And it's a very creepy, you know, kind of closed mouth smile, although he does do some open mouth smiles. He does not have fangs like we see in our little modern takes on Dracula. But again, you can still see the lines, the moles. I mean, what a great job. Another really cool thing that they did with this figure was how they did the cape. I mean, when we think Dracula, of course, we think about Dracula's cape. And I'm not entirely sure what the material is, but the material on this, it's a synthetic material. I believe it's, you know, kind of like a polyester or something, but it's super smooth, super silky feeling, this cape. And they created several of the hands in such a way that he can hold his cape, because this is definitely one of the things that Dracula will do in the movie, is sweep his cape around. I mean, when we think about Dracula, of course, we think he's got a cape. And so this Carfax Abbey getup that he was in, he had the cape, he had the top hat, and the cane, and that was a big deal, a big player in the movie. And so this cape is, I mean, we've had some capes for like Batman in, you know, McFarlane toys, and they were not nearly this quality. Here's another really cool thing about the cape. When he would enter a room, he would take his cape off, hang it on the hat rack. And so this cape also comes off, and it just sort of clips around his neck and is in such a way, I mean, it's really well done to where you can put this cape on him, and so he can pose with the cape, he can pose without the cape. As far as the feel, as far as the ability to put it in the action figure's hands and do some stuff with it, I think they've done really a fantastic job. So the hands that the figure comes with are white gloved hands, and so these gloves are these hands are depicted with white gloves on them. So there's not a ton of detail, there is some, but there's details basically of the gloves themselves, which is in and of itself well detailed. And so as you can see here, you see the lines in the white gloves, which is very typical for what those gloves might look like. And you know, he's got his vampiric ring, his signet ring, and so we can see that on this particular hand. So they did a great job of showing this as a gloved hand. Now get this though, take a look at some of the other hands. All the other hands are without gloves, and detail wise, these have a dark wash over them to give them a lot of depth of paint, and they have a ton of details when it comes to the veins in the hands, the finger ligaments, the fingernails, again the ring, which you can see on the front and the back and the palm. Man, the detail work on these hands, absolutely fantastic. And so these are rather great. All these are kind of the same as far as they're in different poses, but as far as the detail work and the paint job on them, that's what they look like, and they look really great. The other accessory that the Dracula action figure comes with this bat. And they did a good job on the details of this bat because, and it looks rather fake, but in the movie it looks rather fake. I mean, it just does. It's actually quite large in the movie, and so this is large in the same proportion. It comes with this acrylic stand and base that you can put this acrylic stand in. Now the stand has a ball on top, and there's a socket for this bat to fit into. And as I was pressing this bat into mine, I broke it. I broke this acrylic stand, and then when I tried to glue it back, I wasn't paying any attention. I had it set up to glue, and it kind of fell on the glue, and so mine has this rather awkward, very crooked seam in it. And so I'm gonna try to see if I can get another one of these. So let me just, caution you that the socket that this goes into, you want to heat this bat up before you put it in the socket, and then be very, very careful as you press it in. Like, hold it toward the top as you press it in. I was holding it down toward the middle, and again was being very careless. All right, well, as I opened up the Ultimate Dracula accessory pack, it does come with basically 5 different things, and it comes with 3 larger animals, a smaller animal, and of course the coffin, which is really kind of what we all want when we have Dracula. We think of the coffin itself. So we'll start there. We'll look at the coffin. It's actually really cool. So it's not as flat as I initially thought as far as the paint is concerned. You can actually see some variance in the light to dark at the top of this. So they did a good job, I think a decent job of painting it. Now, unlike the Carfax Abby, in the accessories, they're all colored additions. And so when we take a look at, I guess, the handles on the side, the casket handles, we see that there is some rust colored paint on there, some copper colored paint for the silver. I would have preferred they went black and white on this just because, but that's what that looks like. And so you can see some variation in the paint on the sides, which is nice. The cool thing, one of the things I like about it is I can take, he's got several of the hands of the figure itself. And like we can take a hand like this, and we can actually just, prop it on the side and give the vibe of there's something in there trying to come out. I think that that's actually pretty cool. As always, we want to see, well, does it fit the action figure itself? And so if I take my man Dracula here and put him in, he does fit rather well. So he can fit completely in the coffin. So if you wanted to pose him in coffin, you can. All right, let's talk about the animals, the little beasties that are a part of the movie. And also a part of a lot of, I would suggest maybe we call it B-roll, where they're kind of panning around the castle and you see critters, you know, going everywhere. There's one part, so I'm just saying most of these are kind of oddly placed. Like I would have thought this was actually a rat. It's not a rat, it's a possum. And yeah, you're seeing this right. This is an armadillo. But in the movie, 100%, we didn't see any rats. We saw possums and we saw armadillos. We did see spiders. They also had a very tight close-up of this, which at some point in the movie, I can't exactly remember when it was, but it was, I think, during the castle times. And it was just like this little box. It looked like a tiny, tiny coffin, or I mean, I guess it's a bug box. And a bee of some kind was coming out of it. And so we have this little, this was in the movie, this bug box with a bee crawling out of it. I certainly can't fault NECA for the choices that they made as far as what was in this kit, because this is what was in the movie. These are the other accessories that were in the movie. You know, the bat came with the figure, so we didn't need a bat, but you know, some of these things were a part of it. You know, the last item that comes with the accessory set is that it has a background, or a backdrop, if you would. And you know, my opinion on this is that it's okay. It's kind of nice to have something that you could put behind your action figures like this. But as I kind of posed and tried to take some pictures, I found it to be a little short. Like, you really have to get some close-ups. It is great if you're going to do some close-ups to have this behind. But if I'm a little far away and wanted to try to get some imagery there, then of course you have to do something with the floor. So you have to have some ground effects, but it's just a little short. I would prefer it to be a little bit taller so you can have some additional angles that you could get at, but not bad to have as far as part of the accessory set. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this unboxing video of NECA's black and white version of their Ultimate Dracula, their Universal Monsters collection, the Carfax Abby edition, as well as the Dracula Accessory Set. A lot of fun to have in the collection. I'm really glad that I have it. And so if you've enjoyed watching the video, then take a minute and hit that like button, and please subscribe to the channel. It's a huge help. You know, I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for the positive comments as well. And we will see you next time on Figured Out.